Universal laws work for us whether we do them consciously or unconsciously. Hello again, everyone. I'm Eli's dad with Project Eli, where we educate, lead, and inspire. And I was reading an article from the Business Insider called 15 Things Successful People Do Right Before Bed. And we've discussed many of these on this channel, but the difference between the article and things that we've discussed is on this channel, we give you the why and because the universal law works for you. Here they're just giving you what it is you have to do. And that's okay, because just like gravity, if I take a book and I drop it, all right, it's always going to fall down, whether I do it on purpose or I don't do it on purpose. The law of gravity always works. These laws always work. These universal laws always work. And I want to go over with you some of the things they said and why they work, as opposed to just giving you the what, so that you'll understand a little bit about some of the things that make people successful. Okay, these are 15 things successful people do right before going to bed. First thing, they read. Okay, they set aside, Bill Gates is famous for this, setting aside like a half an hour every night before you go to sleep. I'm going to read something. All right, what does that do? Well, first of all, when you're reading something, it slows you down, it gets you in a more relaxed mode, but it's also planting a seed. It plants a seed. So before you go to sleep, when you plant that seed, you're giving a message to the universal mind, and the universal mind responds to that seed that you're planting. All right, we talk about setting aside, making sure the last 5 minutes before you go, when you cross the border from consciousness to unconsciousness, that you plant the seed of the outcomes that you want to achieve, not how you get there, because if you knew how to get there, it wouldn't be an issue, or things that you've tried that haven't worked, but just the outcome itself. And when you do that, you're planting that positive seed, and the universal mind will start to communicate with you. They unplug completely. That has to do with, not looking at all your social media things, your computer, things like that. It has something to do with the light. Frankly, this is not an area of expertise, but I'll take your word for it that if you're looking at things, it makes it a little more difficult to sleep. They disconnect from work. All right, this is one of the things we've talked about as well. One of the things, if you're not disconnected from work, what you're doing is you're thinking about all the things that, for the most part, didn't go the way you wanted them to go, and that's the message that you're sending to the universal mind, to the infinite partner. That's not the message you want to send. You want to leave the runway clear so that the universal mind can land its plane with mind flashes and situations that you couldn't predict or plan to help you out. But if you're thinking about things that didn't work, then you're putting planes on the runway and making it difficult for the plane with the answer to land for you. They make a to-do list. All right, that involves planting. Very simple. What are you doing? You're planting the seed. This is what I want to have done. This is the way I see it being done. This is the outcome I see. Boom. You're planting the seed. The to-do list. Very simple. They spend time with their family, and they spend quality time with their partners. All right, these are personal things. You want to spend time with your family. You want to, there's three sides to the balance sheet: personal side, business side, and the spiritual side. Spending time with your family, of course, is the personal side. Spending quality time with your partner, also the personal side. All right, so I'm not going to go into those. Those are kind of self-explanatory. They go for an evening stroll. All right, Joel Gascioni, okay, I'm reading from the article here, co-founder and CEO of Buffer, takes a 20-minute walk every evening before bed. Quote, "This is a wind-down period and allows me to evaluate the day's work, think about the greater challenges, gradually stop thinking about work, and reach a state of tiredness." Have we talked about that before? You wind down, you get yourself into a relaxed state. Remember, that is when the universal mind communicates best when you are in a relaxed state. You have a particular thought, a particular focus, but you're relaxed. All right? Does that make sense? They reflect on the good things from the day. Once again, you're expressing gratitude. Thank you, I've achieved this. And when you're reflecting on the things from the day, you see them happening. And when you see them happening, when you see good outcomes, once again, you're planting that seed with the infinite partner. My point is, all of these different little things that people do, they don't do it understanding the why and because it works. They do it and it works anyway because the universal laws are consistent and they act without prejudice. So it doesn't matter who does it, whether you're doing something for good or for evil, just as gravity works for an evil man or a good man, these same laws work no matter what. But when you understand how they work, it makes it easier to perform the function. They picture tomorrow's success. Have we talked about that? I'm reading from the article. Many successful people take a few minutes before bed to envision a positive outcome unfolding for the projects they're working on, says Lynn Taylor, a national workplace expert and author of Tame Your Terrible Office Tyrant, How to Manage Childish Boss Behavior and Thrive in Your Job. But that just flows right off your tongue, doesn't it? For most, this is not a task or exercise. They're wired with the gift of solid resolution skills that come naturally. Point. They picture tomorrow's successes. You're planting that seed. Do you see why these things are working? All right? You're getting the help from the infinite partner to give you input, and you're visualizing this success, and you send that vibe out there. Thoughts are things. They meditate. Okay? What do you do when you meditate? You clear out your brain, so you're getting all of the bad stuff out, and what you're leaving is just essentially purity. That's your aim when you're meditating, is to get rid of all the bad things and just sort of have like a, what do they call that sound when you hear the music and it doesn't do anything for you, okay? You know what I'm talking about, all right? So you meditate. They plan out sleep. They do something at the same time every night. They get into a routine. When you get into routine, your brain gets used to working that way. You know this works with children. You know it works when you have your morning ritual. It also works in the evening. So when you plan out your sleep, your brain knows this is the time I go to sleep. It makes it easier for you to fall asleep and to get your rest. They keep a hygiene ritual. Reading again, the National Sleep Foundation recommends you create a hygiene ritual that sends a psychological signal that you're getting ready for bed. This can include brushing your teeth, washing your face, flossing, combing your hair. You get into habits, and what we talked about this in a previous video about establishing good habits. When you piggyback your habits together, it works better. So in the example that I strongly recommend that you do is when you're brushing your teeth, combing your hair, washing your face, all those things, start thinking right then about the outcomes that you want to achieve, so that when you move on and you go into bed and hit the hay, you've started the process. You've piggybacked one habit with another, and it makes it easier to do. So make a conscious effort to be thinking about outcomes while you're brushing your teeth or combing your hair. Combing your hair, my God, that would be a quick thought for me. Anyway, let's go on to the next one. They decompress. Maybe you like taking a warm bath. Perhaps listening to calming music relaxes you. Once again, what are we talking about when we decompress? We're getting into a relaxed state. The infinite mind works best. You see why these people are successful? They're doing things that put them in position to communicate better with the infinite mind. Their partner, your partner. They skip the wine. All right, well, frankly, I'm not somebody that, in the last year I may have had one beer and one drink, okay? So this is not something particularly relevant to me, so I'm going to read what she says. When researching her sleep manifesto, Thrive, Ariana Huffington consulted a number of sleep specialists for tips. One of her favorites is avoiding alcohol right before bedtime. While alcohol can certainly help you fall asleep, the National Institute of Health says it robs you of quality sleep. All right, so without going into detail, don't drink right before you go to sleep. It makes you sleepy, but it detracts from the quality of your sleep. They write down what they accomplished that day. Journaling. All right, we talked about this before. When you write something down, it gives it clarity. When you have something, when there's clarity, then your brain is able to work a lot better. Does that make sense? So we've given you 15 things that top business people do, but in addition to explaining the what, we went over why they work. They work because they're part of the natural order of things. Once again, it's not essential that you understand why a law works, because it works all the time if it's a universal law. So as a leader, for example, if you put your people in position to have a vision, to see a dream, and you put them in that position, then the fact that they don't know why it works for them is irrelevant. You know it works for them, so get them to do the things that are going to move them forward by using the universal laws. Also, of course, do the same thing for yourself. And because we never end a meeting on a philosophical note, let's get out there and take charge! I'm Eli's dad.